Since 2014, the world has produced almost 10 million tons of additional e-waste. This is particularly worrying in Africa. Countries such as Nigeria and Ghana are suffocating under imports of second-hand electronic equipment, 25% of which is already unusable upon arrival. In Kenya, only 10% of electronic waste is recycled. In Nairobi, our journalist Jefferson Kahinu visited a social enterprise specialized in this circular economy. The aim is to give new life to used machines or collect precious materials from them. Take a look.
Kenya is estimated to generate over 50 tons of e-waste annually, and only 1% of it is properly recycled. The pandemic saw more people working from home, increasing imports of electronics, both new and second-hand. Albeit, e-waste management remains a big headache for the country.
So when you have a huge appetite for consuming electronics, there's also equivalent electronic waste that will be disposed.
The carbon footprint of electronics is estimated to be about 3.7% of global greenhouse emissions. Recycling e-waste from landfill reduces methane emissions, which are 25 times more potent than carbon dioxide.
To date, we have done over 10,000 tons of e-waste that we've properly disposed. So that's to save the planet over 14,400 tons of CO2. We've served over, I think, 8,000 different customers across Africa, whereby we are providing them a very safe alternative to existing traditional ways of disposing electronic waste.
The long-term management of e-waste requires companies to have extended producer responsibility to manage the growing number of waste.
But there's still a mindset issue, you know. People don't understand how bad it is. The same way you have people who don't understand how bad climate change is for the planet.
Africa has been used to dump e-waste from other international countries, but some countries, like Kenya, have set up legislation to stop it. Not many African countries have the mechanism of recycling e-waste due to the high cost of machinery required to start similar projects.
We still have countries in Africa who don't have a solution. But where will they take the e-waste? But as a company, we've been establishing partnerships with other African countries. We've set up, or rather we have footprint in more than 15 countries in the continent, whereby we're also building their capacities as we center grows and expands. So some of these countries we have direct operations. Other countries we have set up partnerships with players in those countries.
More efforts are needed after the East African Community, EAC, unanimously decided to prohibit the dumping of e-waste in the region in 2021.
We're largely importers, which means we don't dictate the standards of technological equipment that is coming into our countries, which means we have higher waste because the life cycles of these products are shorter. So whereas maybe in the West you'd have a product serving or reaching its end of life after 20 years, here it's taking maybe 5-7 years or even less in some instances. And that generates and exacerbates the amount of waste creation.
Importers and dealers of electronic devices will be liable for treating the e-waste generated, the EAC ruled. This will take the prices north, with most imports coming from Australia, Japan, China and Canada.
Achieving circularity with e-waste is possible. The challenge we have in Africa, which Kenya is also, one of the countries in Africa, is that we don't control a lot of production systems that are producing a lot of our equipment. Be it the cars we are driving, be it the television sets we are watching, be it the washing machines we are using, the mobile phones we are using are not even within our control in terms of actual manufacture. And so the challenge lies here. Even with extraction or recovery of useful material from e-waste, we still have to export it to the countries that are producing this equipment for us. Whereas, if we had production lines in country, we'd actually be able to consume that material locally, circulate it back into the system, and require very little virgin material that is needed to top up based on whatever losses we'd have made in terms of the recycling process. But the challenge is we are not in control of our production systems.
Even though e-waste is hazardous and harmful, there are a few situations where it has helped Africa by creating jobs. Currently, Africa's informal e-waste recycling and collection industry brings in between 22 cents and $9 per person per day.